Hi guys, welcome to the episode. This one's a little bit different from what I was expecting to bring you this week. I was hoping to bring you a video about how to create, edit and keyword and upload a stock footage clip, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted. I went to a tram stop earlier in the week, and I spent about 4 hours making the video and also doing the how-to bit here at home. But just my 10-year-old computer is just so slow. When I wanted to use the QuickTime bits where I recorded from my screen, it was just really slow. And I just found it so frustrating that I've put that video on hold. Hopefully I will bring it to you at a later stage. It'll probably be in modified form, or I managed to win €1,000 and buy myself a new M1 MacBook Air. But I have a feeling I'll just work on it over the next few weeks and modify it a bit so it's not so reliant on my screen recordings. But anyway, the video was based on going to a tram stop and pretending to be a passenger getting on the tram, but wearing a face mask because of the COVID situation. And I think that would have been a really good stock video. I've since uploaded that stock video to a few agencies, well, a day ago, so I don't know how it's going to go. But I just go into the video and try and teach how I created the video, what obstacles I faced, and how I imported it into Premiere Pro, and then keyworded it, then exported it, keyworded it, and then uploaded it to different sites, also including FTP software to upload it to those sites. So hopefully in the future I'll be able to show you the fruits of that labor. But this week's episode is about a few different things. I've got some questions that I'm going to answer, and I'll also talk about my 3-month plan a little bit later in the episode, where it's now January. So what should I be looking to upload in January so that it is saleable for websites and publications to use? And now I'm just going to get into some questions that I've been asked. First one is from Jim Williams, and he says, I'm wondering what to create that would sell on Pond5. What videos do I upload to Pond5? Well, Jim, thank you for the question. And I have to admit that with Pond5, I haven't really been selling a wide variety of photos. Pretty much most of my, did I say photos? I meant videos. Pretty much my videos that sell on Pond5 are of the stranded gannet trapped in plastic. And there's also some videos that I took of some fish. I think they're black brim. I think in Europe they call them Dorado, and also some other nature videos. But my Pond5 portfolio has everything in it, including the clip of me waiting for the tram with my mask on, and that's an editorial clip because of the tram coming in, and it's got logos on the side of the tram. What else do I have on my Pond5 portfolio? Yeah, I've got protests, the farmers' protest that took place a couple of years ago and is still dragging on because of their protest against environmental regulations. I've got ones that never sell, like my fallow deer in the nature reserve, and just pretty much everything, even cleaning ice off the windscreen. So I'll show you, oh, that's me wiping down a supermarket trolley with a disinfectant wipe. I've got standard nature ones with cormorants on the nest. And what else? Also the student climate change protests. I haven't sold too many of these other ones. I've also got ones of stranded porpoises on the beach. And even industrial ones where there's a drill rig drilling down into the earth in order to tap into thermal or water that is warmer, and they pump that up into the houses that are going to be built there, so that the houses can be heated via the thermal heat from the water rather than gas or electricity, which is pretty interesting. I even have one of going to a Dutch coffee shop where they sell cannabis and cannabis products, and I've got a close-up of a guy rolling a joint. So that's just a little bit of what I have on Pond 5, but it's very varied. But I sell a lot more videos on Shutterstock than I do on Pond 5, even though a lot of people object to uploading to Shutterstock because they've also reduced their commission rates in such an extreme way. So the next question is from When Journal, and they say, I'd like to ask, your photos sold on Alamy, did you mark them as RM, which is rights managed, or RF, royalty free, when uploading the photos? And pretty much I leave my uploads as royalty free. I don't change them to rights managed. Rights managed just means that there's more restrictions on the buyer for purchasing that image, whereas royalty free means that the buyer can use that image for as much as they want, I believe. I haven't really spent a lot of time on the benefits and the cons of rights managed as opposed to royalty free. But yeah, lately I've been selling quite a few photos on Alamy, so maybe it's working because my photos are royalty free. Pretty much I think the micro websites or agencies are mostly royalty free. Number 3, Fenland Wildlife Clips. He says, could you please, or she says, could you please do a video on editing, and is it worth paying for Lightroom? I tried to do a video for editing earlier this week, and my old crummy 10-year-old Mac let me down, but I haven't given up on the idea for doing editing video. And is Lightroom worth paying for? Lightroom is the only photo editing software that I use, so from my experience I think Lightroom is worth paying for. I know there are other software packages out there like Capture One, and yeah, that's the only one I really am familiar with, but I haven't tried that, so I don't know if it's worth it or not. But definitely Lightroom for me works, and I would pay for it. Although I've only got the very old version, not the CC version, because I object actually on principle to having to pay every month for the editing software. So what I did was I paid €100 for a CD or a DVD, and that means I only have to pay for it once. But that was 5 or 6 years ago, and my Lightroom is getting outdated now, so I'm going to have to eventually give up on my principle and succumb to the purchasing the new CC version of Lightroom. They've got me on that one. They've won that battle. Andreas K asks a question, and they say, is it possible to sell photographs of the old VW cars that I've been displaying on my videos that I've been taking photos of without property releases, or are these editorial pictures of yours? It would be possible to photograph, I think, VWs on the street if you only do in isolated or up close photos of details of the cars and the car is not recognizable to its owner. There's no logos involved and there's no people. So there's no identifiable property or people in the photo. Then it would be, I guess, possible to upload that image as commercial. Most of the ones I've been doing is of the whole VW, and it's in a public place, and I didn't want to faff around with taking out logos and emblems, so I just uploaded most of mine as editorial, and that seems to have worked out well. I sold one photo for $600 recently, and that was an editorial photo that I uploaded. So yeah, just if you do upload as commercial, be careful what you leave in the image, and make sure what I said previously isn't included. Marlon Trotman wrote, are you still happy with your iPhone SE? I'm thinking about replacing mine, which is an old iPhone 5. Yes, I'm very happy with my iPhone SE. I don't have it with me. For some reason the 4G has died, so I have to ring up my provider and find out what's going on with that. So when I'm outside, the 4G just doesn't work. But I think that's more to do with the provider that I'm using rather than the actual handset. I'm really happy with the iPhone SE. I've been constantly using it. I'm really happy with the photo quality or the image quality. I'm more than happy with the video, except for the bit of a crop that it introduces when you do switch it over to video. And I often, I'm photographing something and I think, oh, I'll take a bit of video of that as well, and I put it onto video, and because of the crop I think, oh, that's not good, and then I have to take a couple of steps back. And of course it doesn't have the super wide angle lens on it. It just has the standard, I think, 28mm or 24mm lens, which can get a little tight sometimes. But for the rest, more than happy with the iPhone SE 2020, and I recommend it for the money. I think it was about 500 euros. VK Media says, please make more videos about indoor stock photography. I am planning to make some more videos about indoor stock photography, but it'll be indoor food stock photography, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. I really enjoy doing food photography. I've done a couple of videos of food photography which I'll put up here, where I videoed and photographed honey and some other things. But it wasn't specifically dedicated to food photography, that video. I also videoed or photographed some capsules of CBD oil and other semi-micro photos. But this video I'll be making about food photography will be a mixture of fresh food, vegetables, and maybe even a cooked meal or two. So stay tuned for that one. We normally operate on the 3-month cycle with stock footage and photography, where you upload images for the month that is 3 months ahead of you. So I would be uploading images that represent things taking place in, now it's January, February, March, April. So the magazines and the agencies, they're looking for things to do with April and the seasons and the events that go around that month. So what I am uploading now is, I've got a big portfolio of flower photos, not just flowers out of a garden, but commercial crops of flowers like tulips and daffodils that grow in the flower belt that is in the Netherlands western provinces. So I've made a lot of photos about tulips and irises and daffodils, and now is the time to upload those for spring, because publications are using these images of beautiful daffodils highlighted against the sky and fields of tulips. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also going to be uploading photos about the opening of the beach season, which will take place around April, May, I believe. So that's the building of beach tents or beach cafes, which open up in the Netherlands around that time, all going well with the illness, as people are now starting to call it. And also outdoor themes to do with spring, like going out in parks, walking in nature, and other maybe some events or festivals, although that's probably not going to happen this year either. So that's what I'm aiming for with the 3-month cycle. So if anything was helpful to you in this episode, I'd appreciate if you gave the video a like, and that will really help my YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed already for more videos, then please feel free to do so and ring that bell notification so you know when the new ones are up. And I will catch you guys next week.